Hi everybody, Shiv here. So, we've got new skins coming out because, this is esport. Nothing says esport like selling alternative art for your character. Look at CSGO with their weapons. Look at League of Legends with that. Look at Heroes of the Storm. I mean, skins are basically something that exists. Um, the community has pushed this game into being an esport, something that, the developers never intended this to actually be, but hey, congratulations, Reddit, you did it. Alright, so, yeah, I know that's like the only time I'll ever give props to Reddit. Alright, so I figured we were going to take this opportunity today, and we were going to talk about a problem that has been ongoing since ever in Hearthstone. Alright? And that's basically the dev team having absolutely no idea what the fuck they're doing when it comes to one specific class, Hunter. Alright, so Team 5 has done a lot of balancing when it comes to Hunter, probably more than any other fucking class. And every time they go to balance something, it is almost entirely based off the fact that people bitch, whine, and complain. Well, unfortunately, it's gotten to the point now where they've balanced it so much, there's only one way to play fucking Hunter. It's the most toxic element in the game, and now Team 5 is refusing to listen to anything because, fuck it, we've already nerfed it some at least 8 times that I can think of off the top of my head. Alright? So we're going to look at a couple of the things that really have screwed the class over and pigeonholed it into the most aggressive piece of shit fucking deck that I personally blame Ben Brode for. This is all Ben's fault. It might be other people part of the development team, but he's the one that's always seen as a figurehead laughing. So hey, you want to be out up front, you're going to catch all the blame. Alright, so let's take a look at this. The original Unleash the Hounds. This was a really nifty card. It inspired some very creative deck design that led to some really great moments of OTK greatness. Now, I played these decks and I actually made a really, really super efficient, low cost, and by low cost I mean like not just mana-wise, but money-wise. This was like one of the most cheapest effective decks, running about a 65% win rate for me. Other players were getting like 75, 80% with this thing easily. Alright, it was very effective, it was very nice, and it kept one specific type of deck that was wrecking the rest of the meta in check, and that was Freeze Mage. Alright, so the original Unleash the Hounds deck concept was based around little shitty minions. You basically built your hand up as you're going through. You used your hero power, you used secrets, you used your weapon, use things like Deadly Shot. Yeah, when was the last time you seen somebody use fucking Deadly Shot? Alright? Use these to basically mitigate what your opponents could put on the board while constantly dealing damage to their face to some degree or another, just to get them down to about 21 to 22. You could do it at 24, but alright, you wanted to get them as close to like 20 or under as you could before about turn 7 or 8. Which, by the way, fucking Warlocks are great for that shit. And then what would happen is, once you had a few combo pieces, and those combo pieces would have been at least one Unleash the Hounds, one Starving Buzzard, and at least one or two Beast Minions. And what you would do is you would play Starving Buzzard, you'd play a beast, and then it would draw another thing, and you'd keep doing that, and you'd lay out a board. You'd want to get the young Dragon Hawks in there. You wanted to get the Timberwolves and things of that nature. That way you had a really strong beast-centric board. But hey, you got a bunch of these little white weenies that can't do shit. What are you going to do now? Unleash the Hounds. Now all of a sudden they can all charge. They get a +1 attack. So when you start stacking the bonuses up, it made Murlocs look like a motherfucking joke. Alright? This was so devastating, and people couldn't figure out how to beat it. And then somebody came along and said, well, what about taunts? Well, the problem with taunts is, they're just going to, silence it and just get right by it. Okay, yeah, they would. That's exactly right. That's exactly what they did. And they ran one, sometimes two silences. But here's the other really fun thing about that most people overlooked. It was the fact that if you got multiple taunts out, because there were a lot of low taunts out there, but nobody wanted to hold on to low taunts to the end game. You know, God forbid you actually think beyond your fucking mana curve. It's unheard of. So somebody finally decided, hey, what about Defender of Argus? This is actually where Defender of Argus came into play. This is why Defender of Argus became so popular, was because of this deck. It literally shut this deck down repeatedly. Right now, though, if you were to play, if they reverted this back, this deck would get the living shit knocked out of it because of Sludge Belcher, because of Annoyotrons, and things of that nature. I mean, you could easily put it out there. You could put stuff out like, oh, what is his name? Unstable Ghoul, right? So you could actually get a bunch of little minions out, taunt them up with Defender of Argus, and boom, that's going to knock him down. Now, they might use both silences, but they won't be able to do their combo there because they've had to spend 4 mana out of it, which pretty much negated the combo. Then you followed up with 2 fucking, you can follow it up with 2 Unstable Ghouls and just completely stop that deck. You just build up. We also got anti-Keelbots. We've got so many tools now that actually would have made this deck completely But Blizzard decided, let's modify this card to their own detriment. Seriously, they did. Alright, so they changed Unleash the Hounds to a puppy spawner. They made it 4 mana. This pretty much killed the class for like a quick minute. But people kept fucking around with it. I myself did as well. We saw like dragon decks, or not dragon decks, giant decks, sea giant decks coming out, and that shit was hilarity, and it worked. We saw people using it with Knife Juggler, and it worked. And then people started realizing, wait a minute, having a board against fucking hunters is perilous to my own health. Alright? They also started realizing, hey, I can use this with the Starving Buzzard and get card draw. So again, having a board state was perilous to their health. Now, people didn't like it at 4. And it really very rarely saw any play. Matter of fact, the whole entire class barely saw any play. It used to be something like 40% of the meta was actually playing Hunter. Then it dropped down to like maybe 3. Then they changed Unleash the Hounds to 2. Then we saw it jump up to fucking 50% of the meta was Hunter. I'm not even kidding. Ironically enough, during the time when Unleash the Hounds was 4, we also saw a new development in Hunter known as Face Rush Aggro. Thank you, Mr. Arc Cruiser, for being one of the first pioneers of this concept. And yeah, he ran that shit through a tournament, fucking blazed everybody. Nobody knew what the fuck they were getting into. It was completely face rush. This is a concept that we kind of worked with in other classes during Alpha, but never so much with Hunter, right? So they had to change it, and they changed the Unleash the Hounds to 2 mana, which made, by the way, the whole Starving Buzzard combo now super effective. Even though Starving Buzzard got nerfed to a 2-1. Alright. But it became too effective. And I do mean too effective. Having any kind of board state was really difficult against Hunters because they would just easily pull the answer they needed, remove your option because of Hunter's Mark and Unleash the Hounds and all that other fun stuff. So, in their wisdom, they decided to increase the cost of Unleash the Hounds to, wait for it, 3. And while they're at it, they also decided to fuck around with Starving Buzzard. And we're going to get into the whole Starving Buzzard aspect. Alright, so originally Starving Buzzard was a 2-2. But about at the same time that they changed Unleash the Hounds, Pyroblast, and Mind Control, they also decided, now fuck you, Starving Buzzard. We're going to turn you into a 2-1. That way, you know, you can only be played in combination because pretty much Rogue, Mage, Druid will fucking destroy you. Alright? Seriously, this is a horrible card to get. Like, you coin this out, turn 1, it's dead. Done. Alright, so they changed it to that. People bitched. It was so ineffective, but they still used it for the combo. It literally sat in your deck until you were ready to combo. That's it. You never played it on curve. It was an off-curve play all day long. So people bitched, and well, Blizzard doing what they normally do when people bitch rather than actually looking at the long-term effect of what they did, they decided to change it to this, thus completely making sure that hunters had virtually no card draw, which has been like one of the biggest arguments people who've been playing this since alpha, CBT, or pretty much anybody who's been playing this game has had about hunters. Yeah, hey, I like the class, I like some of the synergies of and some of the cool stuff the cards do, but the problem is it's just I don't have the draw to get to it, man. Oh, well, you've got tracking. Yeah, tracking. Right, but I have to throw away other cards. That's really ineffective. We had a draw engine. Why did you destroy it? Well, it was too powerful. But don't rogues have prep and sprint? Well, we're not talking about rogues here. Yeah, but don't rogues have prep and sprint? We're not talking about them. Don't paladins have divine favor? We're not talking about that. No, we can't talk about those things. No, because that's literally comparing apples to oranges in the minds of, Ben Brode and the rest of the Blizzard dev team. All right? The fact is they've made a lot of design decisions that are not universally affected across all 9 classes. All right? When they tried to say that the whole Unleash the Hounds combo from CBT was an unfun thing, it really was. They gave a bunch of excuses that were complete bullshit because the meta literally phased that deck out. Literally phased it out because of the rise of Defender of Argus. So when they made the nerf, people were like, and? And then later on, we started to realize, oh, great, you really did fuck the game. Thanks. And we warned them of this. The more you keep tinkering with this one class, the more you're going to destroy it. At this point, there's very little they could do to save the class other than introduce like a shit ton of new cards or go back and rework all the classics. Because right now, as they stand, there's only one way to play this deck. I mean, you look at every other class out there, they have at least 2 to 3 different decks per, except for Hunter. You get to Hunter, it's 1.5. And that's an aggressive face deck or an aggressive mid-range deck. There is no control. There is no combo. And if you try to say Mech Hunter, that is such a crock of shit and you fucking know it. Alright? If you try to tell me that there's some sort of nifty little combo thing you can do with Gazrilla, no. It doesn't work as effectively as you might think. It's a gimmick at best. Alright? So, I think with the new hero skins coming in, the fact that Sylvanas' sister's coming into the game, I think it's time we re-examine Hunter. I think it's time we really get down to it. We need to make this class something that is not fucking the most toxic thing to ever fucking play. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that it is still competitive enough to be used and be taken seriously. And I think the main thing that's going to do that is a card draw engine that actually makes people want to play it. When you fuck around with the draw engine of Clash, you really fucking hurt them. Alright? You look at Warriors. Warriors have a shit ton of draw engines either built into them or that they have access to because of their self-damage mechanic. You look at Rogue. They have fucking draw engines built into multiple cards. You look at Druid. They have basically one that they use repeatedly. They have options to a couple others, but that they don't generally use. Alright? But they have them. Paladins have Divine Favor. And a couple one-offs. Alright? So, you look at Hunter, that you have an unplayable engine and a one-off that has such a horrible situation. To get that card draw, you can't have any other fucking cards in your hand. Thus, it's pretty much tailored for one type of play, which is a face-aggressive playstyle. So you can't even count that. It's not good. Alright? And if you try to argue with me about tracking, okay, yeah, you're 1, but you're losing 2. That's not very good fucking cycling, as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so I think we need to re-examine things. You know what? Change Starving Buzzard. I have no problem with Starving Buzzard being capped. I really don't. I think Starving Buzzard should not be able to draw more than 4 cards. Alright, if you want to get it on the same level as other engines that are out there, keep it at 4. keep it at 4. All right, because it's situationally dependent on what your opponents will have on the board, right? So if your opponents have 2, you're only going to get 2 card draws. If they have 3, you're only going to get 3. If they have 4, you're only going to get 4. If they have 5, 6, or 7, you're still only going to get 4. You see what I'm saying? You put cap measures in there. It's not really hard. There's space right here underneath, beast, draw a card, bracket, bold. Actually, hold on. Bold, bracket, max, 4, bracket, unbold. Alright? That's not that fucking hard. That's a simple design mechanic. And it wouldn't take much of an implementation into your fucking UI coding. Alright? You're already using, random number generators and things of that nature, which use algorithms and probabilities. You can set standards of, at a max of bloom. No matter how much this can only do 4 in a turn. Right? That way it's capped. Or the other idea is you give this thing a certain amount of life, right? And every time it draws a card, it loses a life. So every time you get a beast onto it, it loses a life. So you make this let's say it go back to 2, right? And it has 4 life. So I play this down. I use Unleash the Hounds. Hey, you know what? A 2/4 for 2, that's a beast. That might seem a little bit pricey considering it's a draw engine. So let's make it 3, all right? 6 mana for a combo that's only going to give me 4 cards at max and ends up killing itself. How is that not a bad idea? It's starving Buzzard. It's starving because all the other beasts are eating its food. Thus, it's wasting away. It fucking fits thematically. Why is this such a hard concept? Why, Ben? Why? Please explain to me, because I'm really losing it here. If you do this, you open up the possibilities of more mid-range and or possibly control decks coming back into the meta and actually making Hunter a more diverse class. Alright? I'm not saying that, Face Hunter doesn't have a place. It does have a place. Every fucking scrub needs a good deck. And that's going to be theirs. But for people who want a little bit of complexity, for people who want a little bit of diversity, so for people who want something that is not the same, greetings, traveler, shit, give us a fucking draw engine. Alright? Anyway, that's going to be my 2 cents. I think I've ranted and raved enough here. Anyway, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. What do you think Blizzard needs to do with Hunter? And by the way, saying, taking Rexar out back and shooting him in the head, I've already said this repeatedly, so don't do it. But other than that, to all of my friends who are right now en route to DreamHack, safe travels. Hope you get there safe. Everybody else, have yourself a wonderful and great week. And may Orange Jesus bless you. Peace.